Alright, y'all, ladies and gentlemen, slines and dons, hip-hop crimies and crimettes, we are back with another episode on the couch, and this reaction today is about more Diddy dirt. But this is getting a little bit more interesting because Jaguar Wright has been on Piers Morgan's show, discussing Jay-Z being a mafia boss. Now, those of you that don't really know, Jaguar has been on platforms talking this for, and this is why I'm doing this reaction today, because it's interesting that she's on the news or like whatever this is. Like this is TV. This is live national TV now, so this is getting bigger than what we think. And when she was on this crusade or talk on the platforms that are online and on a podcast, a lot of people took it as she's, whistleblowing, lying, clout chasing, whatever you want to call it. But I always say when there's smoke, there's fire. And this woman's been pretty consistent with like her stance on things that go on in the industry for quite some time. I am one to say that I don't believe everything she's saying, but I will say a lot of the stuff that she may be referring to or talking about has turned out to kind of be really true. So here's the first effect. When she was talking about R. Kelly and the Diddy's for like the last 10 years, people were just like, she's bugging, she's crazy, she's mentally ill, all this stuff. Then Diddy gets arrested, then R. Kelly gets arrested, all this stuff starts coming out, and you can always point back to Jag was saying that same stuff before it even became Netflix series and docu-series and stuff like that. And then the same thing with Diddy. And then you have these allegations. Now we're in the next phase of this thing where Jay-Z's name is getting brought up a lot more. And it's been the rumblings, and 50's been wanting to be calling out Jay too. And Jay, where has Jay been anyway? I mean, Jay's never been the type to be in the scene anyway, but it's just rather funny that when this happened, like Jay is very aware and in the know. So the way he's been moving, we all know Jay's hiding from something. It's just more alleged, we gotta say right now. But when it all comes out, which in my opinion, before I get into this, if Jay is involved in anything in the matter or whatever, I can promise you that it'll happen, and all that. The Jay stuff will unfold likely after the Super Bowl, just because, once again, we in this entertainment business, dog, and like these are $1 billion businesses, and Jay's been running the show, putting these names, and he's just very attached to the NFL right now. So you can't have all this heat yet until after, because now that's just going to distract from the Super Bowl. So once the Super Bowl passes, I can almost promise you that Jay-Z might be involved in some shit. And that's just my assumption. That's not a fact or anything, but from just where I'm seeing all this smoke and this fire coming from, yeah, it might happen after the Super Bowl. But let's hop into what Jaguar Wright's got to say about Jay-Z being a mafia boss.
Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Sean Combs have one person in common.
Jaguar Wright is known to be a conspiracy theorist.
I would never take a picture with the devil. Everyone knew he was the devil.
Everyone wanted to go to Diddy's white parties when they were happening. If I got an invite, I would go.
So
there's
a
party
too?
within a party.
Jay-Z and Beyonce are not here, unfortunately, to respond to.
Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters.
She's saying a lot of things that could be considered libelous.
I think if Diddy cooperates and gives up some big names of actual crimes that they committed, that'd be a way of actually lessening the amount of time that he does, or possibly even walking away.
I absolutely do not see him being victorious in a criminal trial.
This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through for decades. It must stop.
All right.
Well, Diddy's downfall has sent
shockwaves
shockwaves through the entertainment industry and beyond. The blast radius from the uncovering of his alleged offences could yet swallow many more powerful and famous figures. Diddy is accused of creating a criminal enterprise which engaged in sex trafficking, racketeering, kidnapping, bribery and forced labour. His lawyers say he'll fight the charges, but after the testimony you're about to hear, you'll be staggered he avoided the attention of law enforcement for so long. I'll speak to a lawyer, a whistleblower,
and an insider, dog. So the lawyer must be Shorty all the way to the far right, because I have no idea who that is. And then the insider's DJ Vlad, which I'm dead. And we're acting like Jaguar Wright is just not the same thing as fucking Vlad. All right, cool. But I get it, though. But it's funny that she's on a platform, though, because for years, nobody's given her a platform. So for me, in my opinion, with her having this space to do this here, that only tells me that things are cooking. And whatever she was saying, there's holding some weight to it somehow, some way, because she's been screaming that she's turning tapes over to the feds. She's been talking real greasy on the side, so who knows what she's really doing. And she might have a lot of valid stuff, but we don't know. But her being here, because if she was on some bull or whatever, then I don't think they would have her on the space, in my opinion.
Biggest scandal of a generation.
Jaguar.
And Jaguar, I'm going to start with you. You've been called a whistleblower. You knew Sean Diddy Combs for a long time.
She was singing on MTV,
a
dog.
number of his infamous
She's not
parties.
just a regular person.
And in 2022, you made headlines after comments where you called him a sex trafficker. And in response, you were called crazy and jealous. Do you feel vindicated by the events of the last few weeks?
No. Because nothing's happened yet.
Not at all. Because he's just the beginning. Until him and his cohorts are all held to account publicly and legally, the victims, they're not safe.
How bad was it?
That's what I care about. I care about the victims.
No, I understand. How bad was it, do you think, what was going on?
I'm going to tell you right now that me, as a woman who has been in the industry for over 30 years, I've been performing live since I was 13. My first handler was McKinley Horton. I come to find out 25 years later that a scar that was on his face with a very elaborate story he gave me was put there by a woman who he assaulted. To live through these things and hear your elders in the business, people like Patti LaBelle say, just avoid him, honey. And being taught to be just avoid him, honey. It's not good enough. Not when you live through these things.
Doing this early, dog? What's funny is that I want to know what her testimony on this show is about to turn out to be. Because this is 30 minutes, but we're going to cut it like 10 minutes through, though. We're not watching the whole thing.
Created by all of this, and you're talking to a victim that's 20 years younger than you, and she's telling you the exact same thing that happened to you. So you want to know why there's no vindication for me? Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because he can't put himself in the position
because
to be, you know,
that's what he does.
Did it with Kells, did it with Dame.
He starts little fires
she's consistent.
everywhere.
She says the same thing.
Forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean.
So she's coming straight for Diddy, straight for Sean Carter
respond.
Now. It's not even about Diddy.
You have no choice. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through our culture and our society.
It's funny though, because who is Mysterious Jay though? Like, we know Jay, but Jay always has this little mysterious side that everybody be like, yeah, Jay just be doing funny shit. Not to like feed into this, but it's just funny how like this is the thing.
Decades, it must stop.
There's been obviously a lot of...
You know what's crazy though? I will say though, like, and it goes back to even with like, you know, we're gonna say R. Kelly, dog. Like, we've seen Jay in some situations, and we, you know, the internet does its job. You know what I'm saying? But you know, him, I won't go as far as the Beyonce, because I feel like she was an illegal age. She was of a legal age at the time they actually started talking. But we can go back to the Fox season, like the Aaliyah situation, and like, why is it that they were all infatuated by this 15-year-old girl? Just remember, she was like 15, 16, 17, like when she was around. And like Kelly was there doing what he was doing first, and then like him and Jay rocking together, and then Dame was in love with Aaliyah. Like, it's funny, like, we're not insinuating anything, but it just makes you wonder, because we've seen these things in our faces with Kelly and Aaliyah, and we just brushed it aside and just like we took it as something else. But then we get to the meat and potatoes of it, and it turns out there's a darker side to what's right in front of us. So I think we have to just open up our eyes a little more and just stop pretending. You know what I'm saying? Because like him being like these grown ass men really being with these 17-year-old, you know, 16-year-old girls and like sexualizing them at the way that they were, it's a little suspect when you're an adult. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us that have these platforms or have these opinions on it, we're looking at it from a lens when we were kids, and we have to just remember, like, we're adults now, and we understand that shit is funny. You know what I'm saying?
There's been a lot of rumor mill about what has happened in the rap world. A lot of allegations that the misogyny in the lyrics clearly was based on a general misogyny towards women away from the music, and that clearly seems to have been borne out by these charges against Diddy, which, if he's found guilty of all this, he's never coming out of prison. How dangerous do you think?
Thank God.
How dangerous do you think he is as a person?
Sounds pretty dangerous to me.
I think he's one of the most
After
dangerous
everything I'm
people
hearing, it
I've
sounds
ever
pretty
met.
dangerous to me.
A lot of people have been questioning, well, she doesn't really know him. She has no knowledge of him. She doesn't have a picture with him.
Stupid.
I'm smarter than Claudia Jordan. I would never take a picture with the devil. Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil.
This is where Jag just looks funny sometimes, because it's like, you saying that you won't take pictures with the devil as in Diddy, but you're taking pictures with the other devil because you're saying Sean Carter is just worse than Diddy, so why do you have pictures with Sean? Jay-Z. So this is where you have to start wondering what's real and what's not, because you get caught up in that. She does get caught up.
Years. He's been covered and protected by not only Clive Davis, but Lucian
Drake's
Grange.
baby daddy?
He was selected to be the demon that he is, to keep the culture in line so the industry could continue to rape it.
So that's what's funny. I keep hearing this Lucian Grange name a lot too, and I heard that he stepped down maybe and that his son's taking over, but I keep hearing that name a lot. And it goes back to what I said, like, I know about the Clive Davis because I've mentioned these in like the Suge Knight explosive interview with Chris Cuomo. If you haven't seen that, go check that one out too, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not. But yeah, Jaguar Wright's on point with these names that she's saying, dog. But it's crazy that she just mentioned the Grange guy.
Precious jewels. We have too many lost. The list of lost is ridiculous, and everyone knows Diddy was selected for this job. He's the Judas.
Wow.
Do you think that if he's cornered in the way that he's been now, that he may start revealing
1000%.
things about other people?
Right.
He has no choice. His ego and his drug addiction won't allow him to do anything different. Anybody who thinks he's not going to talk is crazy.
I just want to know if he's going to make it through, though, because he's talking.
The simple fact that he's not saying more now only means that the people who have been protecting him all along, who put him in position to be such a horror to the black community, still find value in him. He's got everybody on tape. They all know it. It's a mess.
For those who were never at these freak-off parties, what were they like?
See, this is the thing. Everything that I'm about to say to you is not my first-hand knowledge. It is my first-hand witness account experience.
She was around.
I was a sex worker. I was a dominatrix before I got my record deal. That's how I know how the dark world and the sex world and the entertainment world run hand in hand. That's why the movie Blink Twice is so important. Salute to Zoe Kravitz. The sex workers that I have worked with throughout the years and continue to work with even to this day have worn hidden cameras. I have my own tapes. I've seen what they do. The ritualistic behaviors. The drug.
So my thing is, though, if they know that, like, because I know these people aren't fucking dumb, and like we've seen video clips of Diddy just taking people's phones, so like they're not just patting people down. Like, this is why I gotta question certain things. Like, I feel what Jag be saying a lot, and I do not agree, but I can understand what she's saying and see where she's coming from with that, because she's been in the world. When you start going off and saying things with like where I have to question it like that, it's like, nah, like that's too easy for, like, these people aren't dumb. They're sick, but they're not dumb. You're just not coming in with hidden cameras on you because I feel like they're patting you down and checking you down. We watched Diddy do it. So nah, I ain't buying that. I ain't here for that one.
Suitcases. Dumping them in alleyways. It's horrifying. And it's all done under the protection of this is going to be paid off. There's another NDA. This is going to be, it's terrible.
Yeah, them NDAs is ugly.
It seems to have been something that
I ain't gonna lie though. I really don't really be understanding the NDAs because I feel like every time there's an NDA, it just always feels like some like weird shit just comes out later with these NDAs. Because for me, I'm a regular guy, right? And like, because what is it, a non-disclosure agreement? So it's like, yeah, you don't want to disclose what? Like, what is it that you don't want to disclose? Because like, if we just messed around and it was like how normal people do and we just mess around, like, yeah, people might say what they want to say. But if there was no foul doings or weird things going on, I don't understand why the NDA. And once again, that's probably a different bracket that I'm not understanding. Somebody in the comments could probably explain that too. But I think NDAs and settling always just seems suspicious to me because when you fast forward, these NDAs be having some weird shit going on, and people are just trying to protect themselves from not having their foul stuff get put out there. So I don't know. Holly weird things, huh?
But people were simply too scared to talk about.
Everyone knows. And every person that's sitting there trying to act surprised knows very well.
Yeah, I'm not buying that. I'm with Jag on that.
The whole point of this, like Cat Williams said when he sat with Shay earlier this year, the whole point of this is for them in a coordinated effort to pretend like none of it is real for the public's perception. But everyone knows what's going on, and it's been going on for years. It's been going on before Diddy.
This has been going on since the 60s and 70s,
See, people keep looking at him like he's the Sputnik that came out of nowhere. This is someone who was designed to be what he is. We got to stop making Diddies. And if we're going to do that, then we got to go back. We got to go back to even further the mentors of these people.
Doesn't that mean you just got to flip the whole music industry upside down?
Because Diddy was taught how to do what he does systematically, and Clyde Davis has been his greatest teacher.
I've been screaming Clive a lot over here.
Look, Clive Davis is not here to respond to that, nor is Jay-Z. But a lot of people, famous people in the music industry, have been notable, like I say, by their silence.
Silence speaks louder than not speaking.
It's also been notable that since the Me Too campaign began in 2017, the music industry has largely avoided the same scrutiny that other industries have had. Why do you think that is?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Since Me Too began in 2017, the music industry has largely avoided the same kind of scrutiny that other industries have had. Why do you think that is?
Well, because the Me Too movement was a ruse.
What?
It was a setup.
Explain that.
It was a scam. I'm saying that now, publicly.
She's gonna have to elaborate on that for me. We need some elaboration.
Dream Hampton spearheaded the Surviving R. Kelly campaign, which fueled the Me Too campaign. And that was all funded by Sean Carter to make sure that Robert Kelly went to jail. Get his lick back.
Using get his lick back on it.
Why is nobody understanding that Dream Hampton was being financed and ran by Sean Carter? They were able to go and get all of these witnesses because he was there with Robert Kelly. How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly?
I do agree with that. That's real, though. That's real.
That people,
because Jay-Z's involved with everybody, but nobody brings up Jay, though. Everybody's just like, it's everybody else, though. He's right there. Jay is right there.
If the Me Too movement were real, why aren't they speaking now? They've also been very quiet in this time of the Diddler's downfall.
Jaguar,
guess they're on vacation.
If this goes to court, Jaguar, do you think the world is going to be shocked?
I don't think it's getting to court, dog.
What comes out?
I don't think it's going there.
Absolutely. I just don't know why they are.
I don't think it's going to get there, dog.
It's been happening in front of everyone's faces for decades.
This is a fact.
for decades.
We all looked at it and just brushed it off as cute shit.
How many victims?
What's the difference between me and Judy Garland? Social media.
But that's crazy that you're comparing yourself to Judy Garland.
How many victims?
There was none for her.
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Hold on, if I'm correct, I believe Judy Garland. This one I'm gonna have to pull out the Googles real quick because Judy Garland was mad young and was going through some shit. And if we look at like, I believe there was a video where like it was depicted as her being a worker, but like a little girl. Which, unless this was true or false, that's what, like kind of what was built around that, I think. But don't quote me on that. I'm just gonna have to hit the Googles on that real quick. I'm gonna let this play though.
Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself.
Oh wait, no. I'm getting that mixed up with something else.
I have three victims right now.
My bad.
Who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
My bad. Wrong thing.
What do you think happened with Kim
Keeping
Porter?
people against their will.
Wrong thing.
Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane.
Oh, she's making some shocking claims.
Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about, Piers.
But what's crazy is that I did watch Touré do a little talk about how they was all on a helicopter or something the other day, but it was nothing but like it's just these funny little stories. Like, why is everybody talking about this weird shit these days? Like, what's going on, man? What's going on out in the game, dog?
Like I said, Jay-Z and Beyonce are not here, unfortunately, to respond to that.
I know. I'm just being honest with you.
No, you're perfectly entitled to your views, obviously. Kim Porter,
yes.
A new book claims that Diddy may have been involved in her early death. What do you think of that?
I think people should really look into that more. I am friends with Albie Shore. I love him. I love his children. I knew Kim. We used to all hang out together at the Kit Kat Club back in the mid-90s when Diddy was first starting his reign. I watched that whole thing happen. And everything that Albert has been through, every attempt on his life that has been ignored by the authorities, it all leads back to Diddy. And everyone knows it. The wiretapping of the phones, putting AirTag on children during visits. These are normal practices that these people do.
She's saying a lot right now.
Jaguar, I've got to leave it there. I really appreciate you joining me. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. And thank you for caring.
I do care.
My man's like, all right, man.
Well, I'm joined now by the host of Vlad TV, DJ Vlad. DJ Vlad, I mean, pretty horrifying.
All right, so we gonna pause it on that note. I might finish the rest of this with DJ Vlad too, because I only thought it was just Jaguar talking on it. But she said a lot of heavy stuff in there, man. Whether it's true or not, that's TBD. You know what I'm saying? That's to be determined and yet to be seen too. You know what I mean? Because once again, I think there's a lot more moving parts involved in this situation than I think we're led to believe. And I think because they're trying to focus so much on it being Diddy, I just feel like, going back to the names that she mentioned, because I mean, what is it? Bill and Weinstein, they took their fall, but I don't think in Bill and Weinstein's situation they weren't so connected to the powerful and the dark side of things with people. Like, they were just Hollywood and in that sort of pocket where Diddy's got the political figures. He's got a lot of other people that we don't know about. She's mentioning the Clive Davises, Clive Davis is a documented dude that, Clive Davis is pretending he don't know Diddy now, but that's a documented guy who's been very close with Diddy and has had very suspicious doings over time. And it's crazy because he's mad old, so it's he's 92, and it's one of those he might just stop taking whatever meds he's on and shit. He might be like, yo, just let it rock, dog, because, this shit's about to get a little heavy, dog. So don't be surprised if you just hear what's going on with him in the next couple of months, too, because that's weird. It's not weird, but that's pretty funny. And, just the Lucien Grain, that name's getting brought up a lot. So it's a lot of these people that are just above Diddy, and it goes back to, the point that I'm always going to scream when it comes to Diddy is that it's bigger than Diddy. And it's funny how Jay-Z just somehow always avoids these conflicts, even between, because nobody really was asking him about the R. Kelly associations. Now that I'm thinking about it, to her point, like nobody ever questioned really Jay about the R. Kelly shit. And he had a tour, 2 albums. They were together all the time. Jay-Z holding hands with Aaliyah, because I think they might have dated or talked at some point in time. That's just my opinion on that. I don't know if that's fact either. It's just from just photos and recent memory and just, or, you know, things in the past. But, you know, that was the thing. So it's just, you know, a lot of weird shit. She's mentioning all these things that I remember seeing in front of me, like she said, in our faces when I was young. But, like, I was young, so I'm not seeing it or understanding or comprehending it the same way. But I'm like, yeah, that did look a little weird. And, like, you know, I'm pretty sure the internet's going to dig up all of this stuff, too. And, like, I'm going to be looking myself. But, yeah, Jagga's not too far off with a lot of things. She's definitely stretching and reaching on certain stuff. And maybe that's because I'm just not privy myself. But it sounds like certain things are definitely a reach, too. The Jay-Z stuff, I'm going to go on a reach and have a hot take saying I think you're going to hear some Jay stuff after the Super Bowl. There's no way that you don't. Especially because Jay and Diddy are literally like this. So I don't see how you don't hear his name not come up at any point in time. And it's just, he's probably already been questioned. It's just keeping it real quiet right now. Because once again, I think everybody has a hand in something. And given that he's involved with the NFL and the Super Bowl stuff, I think they don't want to take away from that. And best believe, if you hear that the NFL ain't dealing with Jay no more or whatever, oh yeah, you already know what's happening. That's just my assumption too. So don't forget to like the video, dog. Subscribe to the channel. Comment below about how y'all feel about Jaguar Wright. Because I know there's like, you have one side of the fence where they're like, yo, this chick is cooked. And then you have another side of the fence that thinks that everything she says is like fact. And then I'm in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Because once again, like, people will embellish. You know what I mean? Like, I've been paying attention to Jag for a little bit. I don't ever recall her saying that she was a sex worker. So, like, stuff like that, I'm just like, all right. Like, and then they're like, the whole, they go in with the cameras and the body cams. When I'm like, I watched Diddy pat people down and take their cell phones. So, this is just Diddy. So, I'm like, if these other people, there's no way they're allowing any sort of recording devices in those weird, sketchy, eyes wide shut like situations. So, that's another thing. So, it's like she has holes in the stuff that she's on with her conspiracies. Because also, I feel like if you really are on this, if you really know and you know, you gonna show a little something. You gonna give us something. None of these people really give us anything. No photographic evidence, no recording, no nothing. It's just all like, just listen to me. So I always have to take that in consideration too. No matter how consistent or how long you say it. If there ain't really no proof either, it makes it kind of questionable too. And that's why it puts me in the middle, because I'm like, I know these people are involved in the industry and stuff, but it's also like, things could have happened where they might be just mad and shit too. So like, I'm on the fence. I'm definitely on the fence. I'm not fully on this side believing everything she's saying, but I'm not disregarding everything she's saying either. So on that note, dog, let me know how y'all feel in the comments below. I'm out of here. Peace.